as gardeners, when we start plants indoors at the beginning of the season, usually in late winter, early spring, eventually as the season progresses and it begins to become warmer out and the weather is a lot more compatible with these plants, we will put these plants outside because we want these plants to get the sunlight, we want them to harden off and to kind of adjust to the outdoor conditions. However, there can be some challenges associated with putting these plants outside, including but not limited to disturbances caused by animals, whether they're going after the seeds that are in the soil or the germinating sprouts, or or just some of the more mature seedlings in the pots. Whatever the case may be, they can either dig through the soil, they can chop the tops off the plants, and they can do this damage to a pretty large number of plants if given the opportunity and if the conditions are suitable. So in this video, I want to share with you one way around this. You don't have to build a greenhouse, you don't have to build a hoop house. This is more of a small scale gardening solution, and it can probably even be scaled up to a degree. Basically what I did was I came up with a protective frame that I can put around these seedlings when they're outside to protect them from such animals and birds, so that these plants can adapt and thrive as these plants were, of course, biologically designed to do. And to build it, I pretty much used materials that I already had available. Nothing I had to go out of my way to buy or anything like that. So let's go check it out. So this cage is about 14 inches long, or 14 inches high, and it fits 8 of these 10 by 20 flats, 10 by 20 inch flats on the inside. So like I said, like during the day when I put these plants outside, this cage helps to protect any rabbits or birds or chipmunks or anything like that from digging inside the pots and damaging seeds or seedlings. Alright, so especially in this busy world that we live in, we want to be able to have peace of mind that our plants are safe and protected during the day. Maybe we have to go to school, maybe we have to go to work, or we have other obligations to do that may take us away from being able to care directly for our plants all the time. And so personally, for me, when I'm not able to be home, I am able to be at peace of mind when these plants are outside, they are protected, they are safe, and there will not be any animals or birds that will get to them during the day. Now at night, I will bring them indoors anyway, especially earlier in the season, because it can, of course, get pretty chilly during the nighttime and maybe windy at times, and many of those plants will not be ready to be able to handle those types of conditions. So I will bring them inside, but maybe later in the season, you might be able to get away with taking a big sheet of plastic or some type of blanket or protective cloth covering and putting that over the cage and maybe securing it down with rocks around the edges, and this may help to hold in some of the heat during the nighttime and further protect it from any nighttime animals that might be crafty enough to be able to slip through some of those protective mechanisms. Personally, I'm someone who doesn't like to take those types of chances, so I have continued to bring my plants in at night until I'm ready to plant them. Now, of course, this cage will protect your plants from animals and birds, but you still have to make sure that you keep on top of watering these transplants, depending on the types of pots that you use, especially if they're black plastic pots and they absorb a lot of that heat, they will dry out a lot faster. Other types of pots as well, depending on the size of the pots too, right? The smaller the size of the pot, the more often you have to water them. So always, of course, make sure that you continue to be on top of the watering. If you have to leave for work early in the day, water them beforehand. Also, strategic positioning of where these cage plants are going to be, right? I have them on the back porch, and the porch is facing east, so it gets some of that mid-morning sun, and then after that it's more shade, right, with some ambient light but no direct light. And so that short time frame of being in the sun, it gives it some access to direct sunlight, right, to help harden it off and to help encourage photosynthesis, but it's not long enough to make the plants dry out halfway through the day or anything like that. So of course, be mindful of where you're positioning these plants and how that might coordinate with an appropriate watering schedule. Alright, so thank you so much for checking out this video, and I look forward to seeing you in a future video. Take care.